Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the OR News broadcast. I'm Daniel Cook, your host for the English edition, in which we have prepared a translated version of today's breaking news stories. A conference was held today concerning lending in the Albanian economy. Many representatives of the business sector, the Bank of Albania, the Minister of Finance, and the head of the Chamber of Commerce were in attendance. The head of the chamber, Nikolin Jaka, urged the Ministry of Finance to hold more meetings with entrepreneurs. Jaka believes that more orientation toward developing politics is necessary. According to him, now is the time to begin an initiative for total fiscal amnesty, which would help in fighting informality. On his part, the vice governor of the Bank of Albania expressed the concern that the number of bad debts are much too high. The Minister of Finance also spoke at the conference, encouraging the business sector to play a role in lending and credit. He said that the issue of credit is extremely important. He also had some optimistic words to say about the economy. There has been a 3 to 4% economic increase, he said, although we had hoped for a 5% economic increase. We have done what was needed to promote lending. The arrears have been paid and bad loans have decreased. The reforms we have made have decreased the economic risk. We must be careful with the economic parameters as we need macroeconomic stability. We have a successful cooperation with the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. We received a €250 million loan from the World Bank, which is going to be approved by the Parliament. The loan comes at an interest rate of 2.6%, said the minister. Some of the other participants pointed out the fact that bad loans have in fact increased. The Minister of Social Welfare, Veliaj, presented the National Strategy of Social Protection today. The minister gave a summary of his work as the minister, giving special attention to the successful reforms during his mandate. Specifically, he mentioned economic aid and the work for providing shelter to the Roma community and the street children. Minister Veliaj said that the people who were abusing economic aid have been excluded from the program, and the assistance has been doubled for those who truly need it. He said, "We made the right decision when we decided to give the economic aid to the women. There was abuse going on in the system, especially exploitation of the disabled. There was a great deal of abuse in this category," he said. "We removed those who were abusing the system and included those who really need it," said the minister. Minister Veliaj pointed out that he himself was raised on government assistance. "I am an example of someone who was raised on economic aid, as my mother had to take care of 2 children," he said. "We made the decision that only one of us could study because we could not afford both," said the minister. The Democratic Party has reacted to the minister's claims. They said that all the Albanians are mired in poverty and misery, while the minister is speaking about imaginary successes. A representative of the Democrats had this to say: "The minister lied again today. This is not something new because this is the only thing he can do. Unlike yesterday, today he admitted that economic aid is given out with his approval. He is the only one responsible for the removal of 20,000 families from the economic aid system in order to include his own friends. The Minister of Personal Welfare is the only one to blame for the reduction of the money that the needy receive," she said. Touching briefly on the minister's statement that he was raised on economic aid, the Democratic coordinator ironically raised the question of how the minister's mother could save enough money from the economic assistance to pay for his luxury weddings, while the other families who live on economic aid cannot even pay their bills. Yesterday in Parliament, there was a lot of debate about whether or not people should lose their homes if they cannot pay their energy debt. The majority was attempting to add a new article to the law that would allow the energy distributor to confiscate homes when the unpaid debt reaches a certain level. Today, the Minister of Energy explained that the current law already supports such an action. Mr. Gjiknuri says that a law already exists that allows the confiscation of a citizen's home if he has unpaid energy debt of up to 300,000 new lek. The minister explained that the only change that has been made to the law is that the right to set the mortgage lien has been given to the energy distributor. He explained, "This is an article that has already been in the law for years. There are many consumers who have not paid, and this must not be allowed." The article was not approved in the plenary session yesterday, as the majority lacked the necessary quorum. It is expected to be approved in the next plenary session. One national security expert believes that the National Bureau of Investigation would have been worthless, and the Constitutional Court had no option but to overturn the law proposed by the majority. He said, "The decision of the Constitutional Court was unanimous, and it cannot be discussed further. From the legal point of view, the establishment of the National Bureau contradicts another establishment," he said. Mr. Dyrmyshi was also skeptical that the Bureau would have been used for political purposes. Despite the rejection of the Constitutional Court, the majority said that there will be legal changes to approve this law. The expert had this to say in response to that. The majority should not have taken this action in the first place. It should have found another means to fight corruption and organized crime. The citizens have responded in their own way to the question of why so many are attempting to leave the country. A symbolic wall has been erected in Tirana by the civil society to allow citizens to write about their condition. The wall is being called the Wall of Exodus, and among the messages written upon it, you can read statements like, "Rama lied to us," "There is no hope," "We are starving," and "Government, give us hope." The citizens believe that unemployment and poverty are the reasons that so many Albanians are seeking asylum in the EU countries. A representative of civil society is saying that the messages reflect the reality in Albania. The Albanian exodus, mainly to Germany, has turned into a major topic of political and social debate. The civil society claims that it is playing the role of a mediator, giving the politicians the chance to hear the reasons for the exodus directly from the citizens. The Albanian Copyright Office, in cooperation with the students of higher education institutions throughout the country, have organized a competition to combat piracy. The event is called "Piracy Hurts. Let Us Respect the Copyrights in the Republic of Albania." The aim of this competition was raising awareness among the Albanian students that they must respect intellectual property. The initiative was supported by the Vice Minister of Education, who said that such competitions are necessary in order to test the knowledge of the youth and to sensitize them. The activity was organized for the International Day of Intellectual Property, and the Agricultural University of Tirana was the winner of the competition. The government has approved a fund of 70,000 new lek for the National Folk Festival to be held in Gjiknuri. The Ministry of Culture says that it is going to be the event of the year. 7,500 musical groups have competed for the chance to perform at the festival, and 1,500 of them were selected. The festival will take place not only in the castle of Gjiknuri, but in various areas throughout the whole city. There will be numerous cultural activities and fairs that will promote handicrafts, culinary arts, and tourism. The festival will preserve the traditions of established in years past, but it will also include a new innovation, the participation of the youth. The National Folk Festival will last for an entire week from the 10th to the 16th of May. That concludes our news for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join us again tomorrow at the same time for more Albanian news translated into English. Thanks, and have a great evening.